Hello and welcome to Channel Sport on Sunday. I am Ken Ochonogo. I can announce, yes, do we announce? He has already announced it. So we say congratulations to Australia, congratulations to New Zealand. Remember, it was supposed to be in Brazil, and then with the ravaging COVID-19 pandemic, they said it will be difficult for us to do so. Of course, we hosted the World in 2014. We also did the Olympics. We hosted the Olympics. But this one will be a hosting just too far. The burden will be too much for them. They are at least trying to contain the effects of the virus right there in Brazil. So 2023 will be just, how far can they get back? And they said, no, we are withdrawing. Colombia did put in the okay, fine. It's a fellow South American country. It's the same for Confederation. So can we also do that? But then there was the bid also from a joint bid from Australia and New Zealand. And out of the 35 nations that voted, 22 voted to have Australia and New Zealand as the host for 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. So congratulations to those two countries. And we hope that, yes, it will be another journey, because from 1991, that it started, Nigeria has never, ever failed to be at the FIFA Women's World Cup. We've been ever present. But the thing is, as we are participating, we hope there will be a time that we should be able to do what Japan did, to go over there with the Nigerian mentality, with Nigerian flavor, and lift the Women's World Cup. It is doable. We can do it. 11 players on the pitch. If our mentality is right, I do believe that we can also do that. So that is for that. But then they also waited for 30 years. 30 years they waited. But then the wait is over, because finally, at the men's side, a team has just picked it, and they just picked the EPL trophy, and that is Liverpool. You can't think that, yes, they went after winning 18 trophies. They have never, ever won the EPL. This is their first EPL trophy since 1992-93 season, that this particular, it was rechristened from Division 1 to the Premiership. So congratulations, club. Some guys are in the house. They will hail you, and we shall look as the guy is saying, I'm going to keep this team. It will be like my Dortmund team that after winning, and it was dismantled. Bigger teams came and picked up my best players. This one I should be adding instead of subtracting from what we have. So we are going to look at that. Also, in Germany, I mean, do you play Monopoly? It's Monopoly because it is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row. And that is what I mean. I don't know. It's the top league because the teams from the Bundesliga still go out there. But even in the top league, there is a top dog. And that team is Bayern. So, they won that. And I call him Lewandowski. But it's Lewandowski, the guy, for 5 years in a row now, he has been picking the Pichichi, the top goal scorer in that particular league. So a lot of things, join together to make German, the German champions, the super team that they are. Of course, they've won the Champions League over and over again. At a point, they won it 3 years in a row. I think the 74 and the 576. That was when Rangers International were also winning the FA Cup. Then in Nigeria, there's the Challenge Cup. Bayern were winning the Champions League, while Rangers were also winning the Challenge Cup in Nigeria. 74, 75, 76, 3 years in a row. So when they say go to the cathedral and sing, hey, 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 of course, some people in there, they have the Delta, is it Bini Arsenal? Maybe Rangers should be the Enugu Bayern. Just picking you there, and then in this training day, seeing how to happen. But then I've come down to Nigeria because they say, look, we're going to use PPG at the point per game to decide the team that we win our league. And if it goes that way, it means Plateau United will be crowned once that decision is rectified. The clubs voted. I think at the point it was 17, it was 18 out of 20. So, okay, let's go this way. But Lobby Stars, I mean, you had them, they said, look, if it's going to be a point per game, if we want to make it level, let's go to at the time where every team has played equal number of games, and that will be the original point per game. Not when some people are having, tougher fixtures and others are having other ones. I will say, okay, let us go. But then the decision of majority say is always right. I don't know, because some majority decisions have been overturned, at later stages. So which I look at that, which I look at how Igalo, whenever he starts, it's not whenever, but just not want to say that is a fact. Whenever he puts on that jersey and be on the starting list, you know that, yes, Odion, Jude Igalo will put in. and he was the guy that scored for United. It was a saving grace for the team because, of course, at the FA Cup, it is the tournament of upsets. So basically, that is what they got there, but they are true. And today, there will be 3 other fixtures to see who will join United to make the 4 teams that will play in the English FA Cup semi-finals. So we are going to look at all this, but the big news that came in during the week was that Novak Djokovic, yes, the world #1, the best tennis player in the world, himself and his wife, tested positive to the coronavirus. So if they test positive for the coronavirus, it means that, man, this thing is not there. You know, he organized the Adria tournament and then bringing some top players in the world. And I tell you, about 5 of those key players also tested positive. His own coach and tournament director also tested positive. So all these are on. But then we want to start where we are supposed to start because we are going right here from the studios to Ikoyi, where the elegant style on herself, I don't know how to describe her, but she's a pioneer, a pace setter in female football in Nigeria. There are those who talk and there are those who put their resources and money into what they do, their passion into what they do. We are going to reach out to the head of women's committee in NFF right there, Ayo Omidoro. I will call her. She's a princess and also a former member of the House of Representatives, where she was the deputy chairman of the sports committee. Hello, Mrs. Omidoro. You're welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Ken. I'm happy to be here.
Okay. Let us, in the mood of that happiness, I would just say that Australia and New Zealand have just been declared, they just won the hosting right to host in 2023. Your girls have always been there since 1991 till date. What do you make of this? Australia is the end of the world. I don't know, traveling that, I don't know how many hours to get there, but how do you make of this?
I think it's a very good decision coming from FIFA. We have had a joint bid and joint hosting before for the Men's World Cup. And I think it will be a new experience for the women to enjoy. I, as usual, hope and strongly believe that Nigeria will be one of the countries representing Africa at that World Cup.
You strongly believe, and I want to believe you too. I want to believe it because I've just been checking the records now, and I found out that we have never failed to be at the World Cup. And also, our best ever performance was in 1999. I don't want to talk about nostalgia here, Princess, but in 1999, 97, 98, 99, there was a revolution in Nigerian female football, of which we were part of. Take us back to that era of Omidoro babes, Jegede babes, Tugos Flying babes, former babes, and the rest of them all that's supposed to have laid a foundation that we should be reaping now. What happened then? And has that foundation been used that now to say it's a stepping stone to where have we reaped what would have been sown some 20 years back?
It's really unfortunate because that time, we that you refer to as pioneer sponsors of women football teams, we had the passion, and our vision is just to make sure that the game of football is used as an avenue for our girls who are talented to make use of that talent and be a stepping stone for them to do bigger things in life. I will not say that the whole of that era has been a waste because, for instance, from my club, Omidoro Babes, I've been able to change the lives of many of the girls. It was not because of what we will get. Our satisfaction has always been what we will give to these girls. So some of them were trained in the vocation studies. Some had their exams retaken so that they can get some certificates. And many of them from my club went on to bigger clubs and chose football as a profession. And it pleases me, to tell you that some of them became breadwinners through this. And when we were able to start the professional league in Nigeria, they were able to travel abroad like the men to play professional football. The girl that I'm most proud of right now amongst them is Onome Ebi, who has such high work rates and sustaining energy to be able to play for the national team up till last African Women Championship in Ghana since 2003, when she broke into the team and she made, the national team that participated in the USA 2003. So I think we have not wasted our resources. We have not wasted our time, but we are not where we expected that we will be by now, given the time lapse. That is just it.
I still want to, remain at where we are because, like you said, you were not doing it for profit because even the male football is not even profitable as it is now here. But what actually were are the challenges, the challenges that for you pioneers then? What challenges did you face in trying to get these kids, in trying to get the consent of their parents, trying to accommodate and other things? What were actually challenges? So for those who want to go, who still want to go in, because you are back now in your second missionary journey, we'll come to that later. But at what should they expect?
Well, the challenges were many. Fortunately, majority of the people who were privately sponsoring women's football that time were women. And so it makes it easier, to get the girls, to come to us. The parents too will trust us because we are parents too. And they trusted us to take care of their children. However, we had a financial challenge because we were spending from our pockets. We could not get a big sponsorship. At a time, I was able to get a Toyota company. I think it was RT Briscoe, and I was able to get them to put in some money, into my club. And I had a Toyota in front of the jerseys. It was very exciting. At least that's one season I had some help. But apart from that, it had always been personal and family money. We thank God for his help.
Those who want to do what you did, which you are also now doing now, okay, let me put it this way. The challenges then as at now, why did you choose to go back again in spite of what happened the other time? You are back and you went to the amateur. You didn't go to buy a Premier League team. You went to the amateur to fight back from the front. Why? What is pushing you to do this?
Thank you, Ken. The reason why I went to amateur is very simple. I am a football person through and through. And I am also in a small way a philanthropist. And I believe in the development of children, and especially the girl child, because call it being partial, call it bias, I know that a girl child goes through a whole lot of things, before they mature, and before you can count them to be, somebody worthy. But because we are very resilient, they go through all these things. They come out, they come out and achieve without anybody even having an idea of what they have gone through. So whatever we ease the path that a child, a girl child takes, to become somebody, I think it is worthy, of somebody who is also a mother and who understands these challenges and who wants to help. to also put something in. So I decided to go into amateur league because it is not just about competition for me. It is about giving these girls great opportunity. We have so many of them who want to play football. And believe me, right now they have a lot of footballers as role models. Number one is Azizat Oshoala, who played for Arsenal, moved to China, and is now playing for Barcelona. She has won cup with Barcelona. I think that whenever all these young girls who also have the skill, the talent to play, and they don't mind becoming professionals too, when they see somebody like Azizat Oshoala, they want to play. And they need opportunity. They need people to help them, to bring them into the limelight. And as I used to do, Omiduran Babes has always been a club for grooming girls. Even those days when we were in the professional league, my team was called there was a name you journalists gave my team. And what it means is that it's a team where you groom them and then you push them out. That's what I was doing those days. And it's still the same thing I want to do now. It's not just about competing. I want to give them the opportunity to show the talent that God has given to them. And who knows, from there, then we can have a lot more of them playing professional football and becoming breadwinners for their families too.
Okay, okay, but the challenges kept on mounting. What advice, looking at you have done it before 20 years, 21 years ago, you are doing it again now. What should we do in the league? Because right now, practically, we do not have a league. What should we do to make the league thrive again? How can we, what should be done? On hindsight and also present experience, what advice are you supposed to give to those who are running the league and those who want to go into running club football?
Well, the most important and very urgent thing, for us to do to place our league where it should be is to get sponsorship. We have to find a way to convince the corporate world to buy into women's football. Women's football is very peaceful. It's very peaceful. When you go to the stadium to watch them play, you are thoroughly entertained. It's a family game. You can bring your children, you can bring the elderly, everybody. You go to the stadium and watch girls play, and you feel happy, and you know that it's a time well spent. So what I don't understand is what we are doing wrong, that since the time we were able to get a telecoms company to buy into our vision when we started this professional league, and because of rumples in the football body, they pulled out. We have not been able to get anybody to come in. Even those days when we were not playing professional football, we had Pepsi sponsoring us. We had Indomie sponsoring us. A lot of things we achieved. We did because we had these people, backing us. I don't know what has gone wrong, but once we are able to convince the corporate people, to supporting women's football, you will see that it will grow in leaps and bounds. And Ken, I do not believe that we do not have league. This year, the league was cancelled before it will take off because of COVID-19. It's understandable. But we have the Nigerian Women Football League, we have the professional league, we have the amateur league. So I think
Princess, we want to keep you on hold now. We want to take a few videos, go on a short break, and we'll come back and we'll complete this conversation. Okay, that's the motorcade conveying the body of the former governor of Oyo State, Chief Abiola Ajimobi, to his residence before his burial today in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Senator Ajimobi was buried today in a private ceremony inside his Alafin Avenue home at Oluyole Estate in Ibadan. Journalists were not allowed to cover the event as his friends and aides insisted that it was strictly a family affair and not open to the public. Prayers are being offered for the repose of his soul at the Ajimobi Central Mosque in Okeado. All right. Well, we want to go on a very, very short break. And when we come back, Channel Sport on Sunday continues. All right, you welcome back to the Channel Sport on Sunday, and we still have Princess Ayo Ominiro on cue. Before we went on break, we took that short message from Oyo State, and then we're back to football. Okay, gladdening news, Princess, very gladdening news, because FIFA says, look, we've been neglecting a female football for a very long time, which we are all aware of that. But right now, we are saying we are going to send $1 million to each federation. Part of that money should be used for the female team. We are also sending another $500,000 specifically, to be used only on female teams. They also say they also have another about 2 million that you can assess that also be used for clubs and other things. But let's look at that $500,000 that will come to a federation. In your own, as somebody who has been there, who has been in the administration, who has been everything has to do with female football in the past 22 years or so. I mean, where do you think? Okay, first and foremost, how gladdening is this news to you, and how do you think this money should be spent? Should it be spent at the grassroots level? Should it be spent to train the coaches? Should it be spent to give to the clubs? Or in your own little way? I know I'm putting you in a spot, but what would you advise in this particular regard?
Thank you. I am very happy, that the money is coming. That money may, seem a lot, when you tell people that FIFA is sending so amount. But considering the situation of women's football, I think the best thing is to just make sure that we touch all aspects, of women's football in the federation. We touch all aspects. That means according to how the Football Federation wants to share it, they have to give to grassroots, they have to give to the league, they will not forget the national teams. Permit me to say that the present crop of board members are really trying for national teams. For instance, before we went to France, they played many grade A matches, some of which I took them to. So I know. And I think that it was not easy, knowing that we do not have sponsors. That means that they have to plan ahead now. All our national teams are engaged in one competition or the other. We are all trying to compete in all FIFA women's competitions. So they have to keep some money aside for the national women's teams for better preparations. But apart from that, the Nigeria Football Federation must make conscious efforts to give room for independence of the women's football development. Because when you have people online who have vision, who have ideas, they must have a channel that is not just this is board member, this is no. The women's football department must be constituted in such a way that they will have free hand to bring real development to the game and not be just a department for taking national team from one place to the other. The league too is very important. In as much as we have not been able to get sponsors now, we have to do everything possible to make sure that those people who are sponsoring teams in the league, they are not made to look like fools. We know that many of the clubs are sponsored by state governments, but we still have those that are sponsoring from their own pockets. So we should try as much as possible to encourage such people by looking for good money to put into our league too. The league needs help. And if they are able to get the necessary financial support, they will go places.
Okay, you've just said the department is existing in name, and there is it because they don't have enough power or they don't have enough to act? How do what you're talking about independence of the female football department? Can you please elaborate more on this? I mean, the workings of there are they just existing merely in name, or they are acting, like you said, without the authority to do so?
Thank you. I have seen. I've interacted with people from other climes who are in charge of women's football in their federations. And they have a chain of command that, where it ends, the person in charge can take decisions on behalf of, the federation. And so everybody knows that there is power here. But you know how our own situation is. The board is lopsided in composition. Since the inception of the board, we've only had one woman on the board. So the men, they face men's football. Everything is about Super Eagles, Flying Eagles, even the Eaglets. I'm sorry to say, but some people believe that the Eaglets are even more important to the nation than the Super Falcons. So, but that's how it is. We need to rearrange, have a proper women's football development area in the federation. They will have their own offices within the federation that will not be just, it will not be the way it is now. That's it. They need to put more personnel into it, and they have to challenge them to bring forth developmental projects that will really, make women's football grow faster and make all of us happier. That's it.
Let me just give us this. Where do you envisage football to be? The league, the development in the next 1 year. What is your vision for Nigerian female football?
Well,
did you get the question?
I want progress.
Okay.
I got the question.
Yeah.
But it got me thinking,
okay.
Because 1 year is just 12 months away. And with this COVID-19, we don't even know when we start playing football again, especially at the domestic level. However, I believe that getting us started is not impossible. To get to where we want to be, we have to give ourselves time, but we have to be consistent and put in more efforts, sell ourselves better. Let us have Women's Football Development Committee working with the marketing committee of the
Okay. All right. It's been a discussion with Princess Ayomidoro, and then I know we've gained one or two things. There is some question I would love to ask her, but then I will see when we get her here, I should be able to do that and ask her that particular question. Obongo Sigwe has been in the studio with me all this while. I'm just welcome to the show. You're welcome to the program.
Ken, good afternoon. Good afternoon, viewers. Good to be here. I was listening to Princess Ayo speak. Very insightful conversation there. But you know, I always say something, Ken. They always talk about sponsorship, sponsors. I say one thing, nobody wants to throw money away. When you get your house in order, when you get your act in order, it's easier to attract sponsors and sponsorship. Because look at the NFF, look at them. They're asking for sponsorship, but how organized are they? For somebody to bring in money, is the person finding value for the money the person is investing? The economy all around the world is tough already. They need to get their house in order. They're structural patterns, even organizing a league to function in the proper order. Even within the league, they have frustrated our league from going live on TV because they don't want the leagues to be shown. If you are proud of the quality you have, display it for people to see. When people find quality and you're asking them to come and invest, it will be easier for them to invest.
But like these private investors now who are using their own money to run this.
People like her ought to be encouraged. Yes. I keep saying they're trying to squeeze water out of rock. So people like Princess Ayo, and even in the male league, the likes of FC Fanyuba and other private league owners, they need some form of encouragement because some of this, the government, the state, the ones sponsored by the state, it's easier from the budget of the state. They can spend some funds on them. But these private investors, they have to. So I've been with the chairman of FC Fanyuba sometimes. I know what that young man goes to try and push his club forward. And these are people. These are areas that needs help. Intervention funds, even from the federal government, it's not out of place if these privately owned clubs can get some form of intervention. If you look at the privately owned clubs, in most cases, they are the ones that are even trying to get things done in a more professional way than the other ones.
Like you're talking about FC Fanyuba, and I remember at least I know that putting the structure in place, building a stadium. I mean,
they even have a clubhouse.
Okay.
I've been to their clubhouse, and FC Fanyuba is one club in terms of merchandise as well. The few times I covered them, they've done well in terms of merchandise, as in their club jersey and club memorabilia. They've done quite well. I don't know how far they're doing in that.
There's another club, is it Van Dresser?
In the local...
Yeah, I think they're playing in Van Dresser. There is a club here in Lagos, in
you talk about Mountain of Fire as well.
No, okay, MFM.
Yes.
There is another in the lower league, Bagada.
Is it Bagada FC?
I mean, those guys are also doing wonderfully well.
These people need encouragement because if you find these are the ones that actually go in the grassroots and try to pick talents.
Okay. All right. We are going to open the lines for you to join the conversation. I know last week we did it. For some minutes, but we're going to do that now and also in the next segment where we look at what is happening. Liverpool, 30 years after, how wonderful it is.
Let me start by saying it is well that...
do we still have Princess? Do we still have Princess there? If we still have Princess, I wanted to ask her a question. If Princess has not left, we'll see that. But then let's see if we can reconnect. We'll do that better. Let's go and we can reconnect to Princess.
Yeah. That ends well as per Liverpool. For 30 long years, they've conducted this deliverance season after season. Finally, and they have successfully been delivered.
Okay.
Congratulations to them. It's not a small feat to win the English Premier League.
Yes.
You have to battle every second on the pitch to win the title. And they've done it, and they've set a record in doing it this season. They've been the first club to win the title with so many games to spare. I think 6 more games to spare. And they've won the league with 6 games to go. So congratulations to Liverpool FC. It's not easy. I'm sure their fans are delirious and they're excited about this.
Okay, let's just rush back to Ikoyi. Let's get back to Ikoyi because the Princess is back right there. And I must ask you, Princess, this question because I was kicking myself that how we have this conversation without it. You were a 2-time member of House of Representatives. You were the deputy chairman of the sports committee there. And I look at this. I pity the sport minister. I say this with all sincerity. I pity because I look at the budget for sport and it's like we have a sport minister in name and cannot indeed. You see the budget, about 94% of the budget goes for NYSC. Shouldn't he just be Minister of Youth? And then sports, we are talking about 6% for sport. The NYSC, when you look at the population of those who are graduating from school, not even the population of the whole school, talk about the youth and never taken in sport. And you say youth and sport. And youth has 94% and sport has 6%. Princess, this budget came to you guys when you were in the House of Reps. Didn't you guys see it? What should be done? I mean, to empower. Do we separate the two ministries, or do we also empower sport as we're empowering the youth segment of the Youth and Sport Department?
Thank you. Really, even if the ministry is split, the budget for sports, I do not think will be bigger than it is right now. What the present minister is doing is really, really brilliant. He understands, as a young man and as someone who, has exposure, has been out there, he knows that government alone cannot take our sports where we are supposed to, be. When I was deputy chair of the Committee of Sports in the House, we started this giving each federation its own budget. Before then, federation budget used to be a lump sum, and it used to be under one heading, sports, or maybe grassroots sport, or something like one line. And I said no, because at the end of the day, whenever we asked them, each federation, how much did you get? Nobody was forthcoming to say, this is for the entire period of this budget, this is how much that was released to me. So we decided that, okay, they should let us know how much they will need, and then we will ask, that the federal government give them a certain amount, and that amount we help them. At the end of the day, when we put in this amount in the budget, it goes, to the Ministry of Finance. They will check it, and based on what they think, will be available, they may, tinker with it, bring it down. And even the amount that is in the budget is not guaranteed to be released at the end of the day, because releases come in bits and pieces. So what do? The best thing, the most important thing, is to get money from outside. I think, if need be, we can get people to go to other countries where sports is so successful as not to even, need government funding, apart from government backing with infrastructural provision and other things like, signing memorandums of understanding for hosting competition and stuff like that. And then we'll be able to, see sports as a moving project that will move our youth to leave drug addiction, to leave yahoo, and use their God-given talents to make something good. I think that the best way to go is outside government. And I give kudos to, the minister. He knows this thing I'm talking to you about. Even if they put 100 billion for sports, they may still not get 5 billion at the end of the day. Believe me, that's the way it is in government.
Princess, you are saying the problem there is the release and not the budget. Because if we can budget, if we look at other sectors of the economy, we make the budget. And then I'm not talking about professional football. I'm talking about make a budget to see that the schools have coaches, the schools have a court, basketball court, football court, gyms, and all that. So at that grassroots level, that we can have spikes for the kids to run if they want to run. We can have gloves for them to bust if they want to do that. Are you saying Nigeria cannot do that as a fulcrum for development of sport in Nigeria?
Ken, if we are serious, what stops a state government from doing these things that you are talking about? Why can't a state decide that they are going to spend money on their youth by encouraging them to participate more in sporting activities? It doesn't have to be the federal government. The federal government will supervise. And I can bet if we have many states putting a lot of money into sports, you will see that we will have more peace everywhere. Charity begins at home. It doesn't have to be the federal government. The federal government is overall. So let us start from the grassroots. In Osun, we have, well, it's always football. Football is the king of all sports. It's the queen also. We have local government chairmen sponsoring local government football competitions. On another level, I sponsor football competition in my constituency. All these things are helping to develop our children. And if the goal is to ensure that our youth are developed positively, and then they make, a living from this, at the end of the day, the whole country, everybody will benefit. Look at all those footballers. They remit money home. That's not Yahoo money. That is good money. And at the end of the day, they even sponsor. Look at Aziza. Look at Aisat Yusuf. They have their foundations helping young girls, to grow. They teach them things. They encourage them to play. And at the end of the day, they are making impact in their own area. So why do we wait for federal government? Let us buy into this and see sports as a great avenue to make positive changes in the life of our children. And you see that, everything will be okay.
Okay, I think that is a better way to leave this conversation. And we hope that when we are all out of self-isolation, we should be able to bring you live to the studio and continue this very, very educative conversation. Thank you very much, Princess.
Before I go, Ken, I want to say glory, Man United.
Glory.
And congratulations to Judy Hallow.
Judy Hallow, yeah.
Proud.
We are all embracing United now. United is now for Nigeria. Thank you very much, Princess. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I wonder what the Glory United is about.
Hallow scored. When it starts, it scores. So don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. The lines are open. Join the conversation. Yes.
I was going to say something.
Yes.
Really, because, Yemi always says something that the government has failed to see the business side of sports.
Yeah.
When you begin to see the business side of sports, it's not wrong making a sports ministry, having a sports ministry to be a standalone ministry. Let me give you an instance. The National Youth Service Corps, the Director General of the NYSC is a Brigadier General in the Army.
Yes.
The apparatuses of the NYSC, the trainings, the paramilitary trainings are conducted by the Army. Why not move it from, and the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Army has Nigerian Army Educational Corps that oversees the command secondary schools.
Exactly.
And Nigerian Military School, Zaria. And the Air Force schools are under, so they have an umbrella body. I'm a product of command secondary school, so I know. Why not carry this NYSC citizens? In the Army are the ones running the show. Put it under them. Let them have an educational unit or a youth unit that will run it.
You remember this Tottenham player song?
Exactly. He went for under the military and came back. It has nothing to do with sports.
This is inhibiting sports. That is the truth. Is
that they should move NYSC out of the sports ministry and move youth to If the army wants is that the ones conducting us, they should take it and join to what they are doing.
And then we have, we have a minister of sport.
Exactly.
You call him minister of sport, and he have just 6% of the budget for sports.
They can call him minister of youth, not sport.
So that is just the thing. So I think the sport is just go over there. We should be able to look at that thing, that budget. That budget, maybe we can also see it. You can see that budget. I mean, all right, let's take our first caller on the line. Hello. Hello, Chooks.
Yeah, Ken, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to the gentleman there.
That is, his name is Obum.
Yes, Mr. Bon, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
It's me, Ken Chooks from Eketa Kwebum.
Okay, Chooks, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Ken, I want to ask you two questions.
Go on.
Ken, why are you not on red? Why are you not wearing red?
Okay. Maybe if you send me red, I will wear.
You cannot.
Send me red, I will wear. I mean, I'm a citizen of the world.
Ken, I also expected to see a campaign on that table. A campaign.
A campaign. On what?
On that table, campaign.
Okay, campaign. Okay, it's okay.
Ken, are you not? Don't you know what is happening?
No, we're celebrating Halo. Yeah, you saw the princess there celebrating Halo, and then Liverpool, of course. You told us the other time that we should not mention any other team apart from Liverpool that the league has ended. Now, Chooks, I remember it has ended. Send us the champagne. I shall pump it right here on set.
No, Wahala. When I see you in due course, we'll definitely do that.
All right, Chooks.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chooks. All right, we'll go on a very short break. And when we come back, it will be we coast home for the sports on Sunday. Okay, you're welcome back. You're welcome back. It is the Channel Sport on Sunday, and the lines are still open. I know we'll take about 3 or 4 calls before it goes on. I'm here with Obum, and then Obum just said Liverpool did a lot of prayers for 30 years, and then finally, they went into River. Where's that? Okay, it's not River Jordan. They went into a very nice river. I mean, but you give that to your game club. I don't because they can have 11 players.
What Liverpool has done this season has been nothing short of remarkable. They've won the league with 6 games to go or 5.
Yeah, because 7 games to
go. And no other team has ever done that in England.
But formerly it was 6, so it was 6 and 7. I mean, it is okay. I give it to
It's not easy. What they've done.
No. With all last year, they lost just 1 match, which was the match they lost to the champions
themselves.
And this
they've just lost 1 match again this season.
So, I mean, that is losing 2 matches in 2 seasons.
For the first time, as an Arsenal, one thing I hold dear is that unbeaten record.
But even they had more points than the unbeaten, because unbeaten it was 26 wins.
The more points is not in contest.
Arsenal were just...
Hold on. The point is not what is on discussion now. Going the whole season unbeaten, that is what matters. However you did it. They won the league. Arsenal won the league. Yes.
If you play 2 matches, you lose 1 and you win 1, and then you draw 2. Which one will you prefer?
Let's face the question. So.
Oh, my God. All right, that is it.
Bayern Munich, 8
in a row.
Maybe at the beginning of the season, all clubs should surrender to them and hand them the title. It won't happen in England.
No team can do that.
It won't happen in England.
Yes,
it won't happen.
It's only one team in England has won it back to back again. 1999, 2000, 2001, 2006, 2007, 2008. All right. Okay, let's go to Abuja. I'll have Priye on that. Hello, Priye.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Ken.
How are you?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ken.
Abete, bra.
Yeah, well done, man. Hello, Ken.
Yes, go on.
You were talking about having a ministry of youth and sport, something like that.
Yeah, we have one. Yeah, we have it. But we are saying the budget is still separate. People can separate the two.
It is assumed that the budget is mostly for youth.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good. Most of the sport bodies or associations, they are expected to generate revenue.
Of course.
Good. And some of them have sponsorship from both kitchen and then international support from international bodies. Have we ever been bothered about how the money is used?
But that, they say most of the money you give to them, you have to cover overhead, you have to cover rent, and we're talking about development here. Education, you put money. Roads, you put money. Why don't you develop the youth to develop their talent, not just their skill?
Talk about the same youth.
Yeah.
Within the NYC we were talking about, you remember that a player was discovered in the NYC for the national team the old days ago.
Okay. No, nothing wrong. I agree.
Good. So if we start using the sponsorship, like now FIFA is thinking of giving FAs money.
Yeah,
if that money is used judiciously, then you see that what we should be thinking of is how to groom these talents, get these people, get our corporations. You see in South Africa, MTN and everybody sponsoring football in South Africa. The MTN and the Glows of Nigeria don't sponsor anything except talent or musicians and all these sort of things then. When they start putting their money properly, especially to develop the youth, the excess talent we have in this country.
Priya, please, can you just hold on there? Because Obun said something about accountability. But let us be fair to these guys. I mean, the companies you mentioned, the telecoms, also sponsored, and something made them to pull out. Why did they pull out? And if they are sponsoring other events, why can't they also sponsor?
Also, you don't tell a company where to put his money. A man puts his money, or a company puts his money where he finds value.
If they start providing jerseys for these teams, if they start, sponsoring this, maybe sponsoring directly, MTN Cup for basketball, just to groom, home-based players. In this very country, we know how through Nuga, people like Faith Denye and Co were discovered. Faith went to the Barcelona Olympics. She was a Unica. I watched her in Unica when she ran for University of Benin. Where are the Nuga games?
The Nuga, we spoke to the Nuga secretary last week here.
So that's what we are saying.
Yeah.
We know Guinness used to sponsor that event.
Yeah, okay.
At the end of the day, Guinness moved out. So the MTNs, the multinationals should come in directly, organize these things and sponsor it so that there will be accountability. Not to give, this money to anybody. They should do it directly.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Priya. We run out of time, and then I hope next time we open the lines earlier and you'll be part of the show.
It's not possible. Doing directly. Yeah. Is it the NFF you come and, because they are bringing money, you come and run show for them? They will not.
But normally, if most times they insist. If they as part of...
Ken, they did the same thing with ITU. Why didn't it work?
That is exactly so. Something must be wrong somewhere.
I told you it's a
but we're not even
systemic
talking
problem.
about football here now. We're talking about sports in general.
I know.
And then what we are looking at is we're not going to put your money in professional sport. We're going to put your money in infrastructure. Put sport first, because the 5% they say they should, even in that particular budget, set aside 5% is for maintenance. Yes. Do you maintain what is not in existence? Nothing. If there is no basketball court in your school, what do you maintain? If there is no volleyball court in your school, what do you maintain?
Like Princess Ayo said that.
Yes.
They'll talk about $500,000 in the female for the female federation.
Yes.
These monies might look big if you convert them to naira, but in the real sense of it, these monies are like a drop of water. This is a hollow. You're trying to put a drop of water to make it come. It will not come up, because look at $1 million is like 450 million naira. If you're executing one international match, I'm not sure this money will be enough.
And she said something. If you bring that $500,000 and it is the male that will decide what will happen to the female, I mean, something also is there. I mean, we're talking about gender insensitive, whatever it is. But we are saying if the female...
there has to be a unit in the NFF that will manage female football and their resources holistically.
Give them the independence to do what they want to do. They're not going to be a committee. I mean, there should be a full-fledged department.
And they think they're doing the women a favor. If it's not Princess Ayo, it's Mrs. Aisha Fallo. They always recycle the two of them as committee members in the NFF.
So what are committee members? And then you say, okay, that just for the sake of being present.
Let them have a woman on the board. If you're bringing a woman, give them the opportunity to exhibit the talents, their God-given talents. They are women, they understand how the league works.
Okay, before we run out of this, we're leaving something very, very important. When Djokovic and the wife tested positive for the coronavirus,
they've come out to apologize. If they didn't issue that apology, I would have said more things. But I think what they did was a bit insensitive. A good cause ended in a very bad way. After the tournament, they went to a club, and we're in their times.
They want to play basketball. Okay, we are going to Abuja now.
Tom.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
I'm good. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So I'm going to support the position of Mr. Priye. There is need for a kind of sport policy from the federal government that is going to possibly compel these multinationals to invest some part of their money on development of our sport. Okay. We just cited South Africa. Some places in South Africa, even the companies go to schools, the big schools, where they provide facilities for them, for their development. We can as well do that in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nigeria has a large bundle of talents that are untapped. I run many football academies somewhere, and the talents we got there are just massive. But there is no support. They are using my salary to sponsor them, even sometimes players will contribute to go and play match.
Yeah.
And these are areas that we need these people to support. Even the government, I don't know what they're doing about the issue of grassroots, this grassroots association, the youth fund. Who is sponsoring them? Government not giving them any dime. As far as I'm concerned, because I've been in this for almost 9 years now. So
okay, why use for Abuja?
Sorry?
Is it used for Abuja?
Both Abuja, no, these are the Kaduna State now.
Kaduna State.
But even in Abuja, they have to pick up, but they are not really seeing effort. They are really seeing the push.
Okay.
Sorry?
Okay, go on.
Okay, so we need this to be extended everywhere, whether it's for Abuja, for every part of this country, where you have this grassroots, where you have this useful. I was in the 80s trying to see how I can better international. We couldn't make it, in the useful we are performing. So that is very, very essential. And now he talked about the female football after the budget. Now, let's talk about the league. As I'm talking to you now, Pelican Star, I confirmed at 48 hours ago, in the last 1 year, they've not been paid. These guys are being camped. Some of them, that's what happened to FC fitness players. Sometimes some of them almost become prostitutes. How can you keep people's children? How can you be saying, okay, you're sponsoring? If you can't sponsor, please disband. And then the supervising body, the female football, the NFF, should be able to regularize these things and ensure that this can perform. How do you bring players into the national team? If you can go deep, I don't know. I think the last coach that did that in this country was Westerhoff. As amazing that we go and watch local league at even the modern area.
Even Keshi did that. Yeah, Keshi did it.
So we need things like, we need people that go deep to go and bring this raw talent. Let people put money. You can have a place where you organize to go for.
Okay. All right, thank you, Tom. He hit something. If Pelicans, he said he confirmed 48 hours ago that Pelicans are still being owed over a year. Please, if that is the issue, I hope that they are listening over there and something is done about it. I remember the bomb starts at a point they were not, they're not being paid. And so if you put ladies who don't have, who can't, I'm using that word in bracket, hustle, like men. What else do you want them to do? You want them to go and do what they are not supposed to do? They are female, they are daughters, and you put them in the hostel, and you don't pay them for a year. How do they survive?
It's wrong. And Tom made some valid points, but I was still, one point he made, I want to disagree with that. Federal government compelling the telcos and
no, you can. What I'm saying, you can say, okay, leave they give them those things that relief, tax relief.
Rebates.
As if you spend it in this sector.
If it's under that, I will agree. But if they're paying their tax, you don't compel them to tell them where they will spend their money.
Yes, you can do that. I remember even the Minister of Sport, along with some Nigerians, to say, let us
there
get...
has to be every form of clarity in that direction, because if there's no clarity, you find the issue of double taxation.
If you're not giving somebody money, China's Kids Cup, we have T.Y. Danjuma Foundation. That's okay. We don't give you the money. Give us a project, I'll do it in your school. So in that case, there's accountability.
Yes.
And they'll bring someone to supervise the project. Okay, they don't just give you the money.
Exactly. Okay. It works in that regard.
We're rounding up. We'll have touched this also, but just as we wrap up, use your last word. PPG, that we're going to end our own league. Points per game.
It's funny.
It's funny.
Whatever it is, let's just find a common ground to end, because the COVID-19 has really done a lot of damage. Whatever it is, let the clubs come together. I just hope the relegation aspect will be where the issue
lies.
I'm telling you.
Okay, I hope when they voted, they will have an all-encompassing package. So, okay, fine, we can decide a winner. We should also decide those who will go down or not go down, if there is any. It's been a pleasure talking sport with you today. I'm Ken Ochonogo. Have a blessed Sunday.